All right, welcome back to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about this case, the Corsair C70. Why I love this case still to this day, why I hated this case still to this day, and why I still kind of want to get one of these cases still to this day. So let's talk about it. 2012 of August, this case was released. It came out and it was going for about $160, $150, sometimes $170, just depending on where you got it from, the Newegg, Amazon, wherever was selling it. And like I said, I've seen prices from $150 to $170. 8 years later, and this thing is selling for freaking $200 to $300 on eBay. I looked at eBay the other day, just to pick one up. I said, oh man, maybe get one for $60, $70 and do a cool build on it. No, this thing's going for $200. It's a cool case, but it's not $200 cool case. This is a pretty cool case. It came in 3 colors. It came in the black gunmetal, which hopefully you could kind of get an idea of it. It came with the military green, and also came in this white variant version of this case. Love the handles on the top. The handles were pretty flippin' sweet because very sturdy, easy to move the case around. I hate when I have big heavy cases like my NZXT 500i that you kind of have to hope you have a good grip on it and pray that you don't drop the glass and just break it, which totally stinks, which don't ask me how I know about that. But anyways, so yeah, the handles were pretty cool. It came with 1, 2, 3 5¼ drive slots, which today these are mostly useless. I mean, nobody uses Blu-ray, DVD anymore. Everything is streamed online and people download or however they decide to do it. USB drives, thumb drives, whatever. So, but it still has that feature, and if you wanted to, you could just delete it. I've seen some people do some cool mods where they've turned these into drink trays and candy trays, storage trays. One guy I saw that he turned it in where he just stores all his flash drives and made a charger station for his phones and all that stuff. So a lot of cool things you can do with the front still. The front had a mesh filter inside of it. I don't know if it comes in over there. It has a nice mesh filter inside. Great, plenty of airflow through the front, but kind of limited through the top, and we'll talk about that in just a second. What I really liked was the front IOs and the buttons. So this button has the cool little power button over here, which has a real nice, I don't know if it clicks. Yeah, I don't think it'll come out on camera. Had a real nice, cool looking power button. Audio jack, headphone jack, and this cool little LED just for the hard drive. 2 USB 3.0s, as you can see right over here. And my most favorite cool thing about it is this little reset switch over here. So if you flip it open, and you could reset it. All right, so that was real cool about the front. The back had pretty decent room and provisions for cable management. Let's get this light situation kind of fixed over here. Had these little latches that come out and held the cables in place, which, my opinion, they were awesome, but if I've known them to break, and as you can see over here, this one actually broke off, so you only have one. Got 1, 2, 3 provisions to kind of hold the cable management in place. Got a little slot over here for your CPU external power, or not external power, your CPU extra power to go up over there. So one thing, because this case is pretty tall, make sure that if you have a power supply that this is long enough. We had a power supply in here and it couldn't reach, and yeah, that was an issue. Hard drives, 1, 2, 3, 3 3.5s over here. You could do 3 3.5s or 6 2.5s, however you want to do it. Sky's the limits. And we'll talk about the trays in 1 second. One thing I did like about the hard drive trays in the back, and I've seen with other cases, is that these stick forward a little more, and when you go to close the back case, you kind of push against it, and you definitely get nervous with these SATA powers and SATA cables over here because they snap very easily. Definitely not cool. So right over here was the back panel, and I love the way these things latched on, and I'll demonstrate it with the front, but mostly it slides into the little slots right over here. 1, 2, 3, 4, and it slides on, and I don't know if I can do this one-handed, and it just kind of just kind of once over, creates a tension. You push the little latch down, holds it in place. So let's get this back over here and let's keep going. The back, nothing fancy, 120mm fan, and that's about it. 1, 2, 3, I think it was 8 of these expansion slots right over here. No provisions if you want to do a vertical mount as far as the traditional ones over here, but you can get an adapter if you wanted to, and I've seen some people do that. Nothing else too much on the back. Talking to the front, well, not talking to the front, looking at the front of this case, that's about it. Yeah, nothing too fancy. So now it does have the provisions up here, so if you wanted to put a 120mm fan up here, you can adapt a 140mm fans Typically, this is if you're going to do an AIO with water cooling, this is where you're going to mount it up on the top. And yeah, plenty of room over here, and it does give you clearance. So like I've seen some cases where the memory is pretty tall, sticks out high, and if you have a AIO up on top, it causes issues. I had that issue with trying to remember what case it was. I think it was my Fractal case that I had, just because it's a smaller case. But this one definitely gives you the provision, so you don't have to worry about your fans interfering with your RAM on that aspect of it. These cages, they do come out. I think it's one screw here, one screw here. They slide right out. I see a lot of people nowadays, they take these cages out because, I mean, realistically, who's going to put that many 3.5s or 2.5s when you have M.2s and SSDs? You take them out and you can put 2 fans over here and mount them right there, just to the side. They have the holes in the provisions. This front panel case comes right out. Very simple, easy. If you don't want to do that, it does have provisions over here. We can mount the 2 120mm fans right over here. One thing I didn't like about this case is just you got the 2 120 over here, and I kind of like to put 140s in the front. It's just personal preference, but nothing that's like a deal breaker when it comes to this case. I love the rubber grommets, which a lot of case manufacturers don't really do anymore. I don't know if I could get that bright enough in there. Yeah, maybe not. The rubber grommets right over here, which I really like. I think they're just, I don't know. It's a cool aesthetic in my opinion. Some people like it, some people don't. It is what it is. On the bottom, you have provisions for larger power supplies. So this is a small Thermaltake, 600 watt. I mean, you can put a longer one in. And if you wanted to, and I've done this in a few of these builds with other ones, is that you could put a 120mm fan right over here just to get a little more airflow pushing up. And if you get rid of this right over here, this tray, these trays for the hard drive, you can put 2 fans and just get more cooling. The only thing I don't like about the case is that over here you have a lot of dead space, and all this dead space right over here, just to me just seems like there's no airflow. It's blocked off with the front covers, and this is where the CPU is, so the only air that you're relying on is either fan blowing air out over here or just blowing up. And then to me it just seems like it's a stale area where you're really not gonna get a lot of volume of air. Doesn't really affect thermals too much. I've never seen a computer overheat because of this, but I think in my opinion it's one of the reasons that most case manufacturers, besides the fact that nobody uses 5 1/4 inch drives anymore, has gone away for it. Just put a whole slot of fans. In this case, if it didn't have it, and if I was to mod it, you could probably put about 3 120s, 3 140s over here and get a crap ton of airflow. So that's just something to consider with that. Now, the front panel has this not tempered glass, and let's see if I get that out of here. Not tempered glass, but it has this like plexiglass, plastic, not glass, but the plastic panel over here, right over here, and it's nice. And it actually gives you provision, so you could put 2 120s or 2 140mm fans. It will blow a heck of a lot of airflow, and actually even with the open little holes right over here, you could blow more air into the CPU or exhaust it, however you decide to do it. These little, what do you call these? These little plastic panels, clear acrylic, there we go, clear acrylic panels. I don't know if it comes out in there, but they scratch real easy. At least this one did. I don't know if the new ones are much better, but that's pretty much it over there. So that's pretty much that right there. And it just mounts on, mounts up, same thing, latches on. So overall, a pretty decent case. I like it, and yeah. Oh, yeah, one more thing, I forgot. This hard drive, 3.5 inch hard drive. So this is the one issue I've always had with this case, which I can't stand. And customers come to me, their hard drives are acting up, and it's like, hey, the hard drive stopped working or whatever. And I get over here and the hard drive's kind of cattywampus, dancing around, and it's had a lot of shock, which is not too good for these hard drives. And what it is that it has these little tabs that it kind of snaps into right over here on the side, and it just holds the hard drive. These flex back, kind of put the hard drive in there, applies a little tension and pressure. Problem is the rubber grommets that hold it in place, as you can see right over here, they just disintegrate real easy. I mean, yeah, this case is 8 years old, but I've even seen them disintegrate within a year or two. So one thing I don't like, typically what I tend to do is I either get a little spacer, a little rubber spacer right over here, and just put in a regular screw, screw it in, and that holds it in place. So I'm gonna have to do that for this one, just to kind of keep this in place. I already did it for this one, and that worked out fine and everything. So all right, let's put a computer together in here and let's see how it looks. So we got our build done, and this is a really easy case to build in. I mean, for the most part, the motherboard has that single standoff in the case right there. Motherboard mounts in. You could mount the case just with the case standing up like this. Excuse me, mount the motherboard with the case standing up like this. Plenty of room for cables and cable management and whatever your heart desires to do with it. And this is the aesthetic and the look. I went ahead and threw a little RGB strip header. If I can find my remote, just kind of give you a little RGB dance. There we go. Well, come on. I guess my remote don't want to wake up. There we go. See, there we go. We got a little color going on in here and everything. It's a very clean aesthetic, this case, and that's one thing I've kind of enjoyed about it. Yeah, so I mean, that's how the case is gonna look. The performance is great, the thermals is great, decent airflow. I mean, you're not gonna have any issues as far as like worrying about building and graphics cards. I mean, you could put a 2080 Strix in here. If you wanted to do some water cooling with this case, take out that right there. You could put your reservoir over there, put your radiator fans up here, and you'll be good to go. So yeah, overall, this is a great case. I like it. If I could find one dirt cheap, like $60, $70, and if it's in better condition than this, I would definitely have it. I already told the customer when he decides to upgrade and throw this case out, I want it. 'Cause if you find this case in 2020 or somebody gives it to you, definitely grab it, take it, build it. You'll be able to do whatever you want and your heart's content to it. So great case. So thanks for watching. Comment down below. Let me know if you like this case, what your thoughts is on this case, and do you still have this case, and do you still love this case, or do you hate this case? Things that you would do different to this case, different mods or anything. A couple of different things I would do to it and whatnot. So thanks for watching, and we'll see what we come up with next.